The living room smelled like Mom's lemon furniture polish and old resentments. My brother Marcus spread photocopied documents across the coffee table with the confidence of someone who'd rehearsed this moment. Deed copies. Property tax statements with his name added in parentheses. A handwritten note allegedly from our late grandmother. See. Marcus tapped the papers. Grandma Dorothy intended for both of us to inherit the cabin. You just filed the paperwork first. Dad leaned forward, reading glasses perched on his nose. This looks legitimate, son. Why didn't you tell us Marcus had a claim? I sat in the armchair that used to be Grandma's, the one where she taught me chess and told me stories about buying that mountain cabin in 1987 for $40,000. Where she'd made me promise to keep it in the family. The leather was worn smooth under my hands. Because he doesn't, I said quietly. Marcus's jaw tightened, that little tell when he knew he was caught but planned to push through anyway. Don't be selfish about this. Family property should be shared. Mom set down her coffee cup with a sharp clink. We raised you better than this greed. The room had large windows facing their backyard, late afternoon sun cutting through in dusty beams. I could see my sister Jennifer's car in the driveway. She'd arrived 30 minutes before the family meeting, clearly briefed in advance. The whole thing choreographed. I'm not being greedy, I said. I'm being factual. Marcus pulled out his phone, scrolling. I've already contacted a partition attorney. We can force a sale if you won't negotiate. He turned the screen toward me. An email from a law firm, preliminary consultation scheduled. Marcus has been very patient, Jennifer added from the doorway. 3 years you've had sole access to that rental income. 3 years. That was specific. That was calculated. I'd purchased the cabin from Grandma's estate 3 years ago for $340,000. Market value appraised, approved by the probate court. I'd taken out a mortgage I paid monthly. I'd replaced the septic system for $18,000. I'd upgraded the electrical for code compliance, another $12,000. I'd furnished it, marketed it, managed bookings, handled maintenance calls at 2 a.m. when pipes froze. Marcus had done nothing except show up twice for free weekend stays and complain the Wi-Fi was slow. I have the title insurance file in my car, I said, standing. Let me get it. You don't need to prove anything, Dad said, but his voice carried uncertainty now. Marcus brought documentation. I walked to my car in the driveway, the cold November air sharp against my face. My hands didn't shake as I unlocked the trunk. They should have. But something had clicked off inside me the moment I'd seen Marcus's smug face arranging his forgeries on Mom's coffee table. The title insurance policy was in a manila folder, thick with documentation. I'd requested an updated vesting report 2 weeks ago after Marcus had started dropping comments at Dad's birthday dinner about our cabin and shared investments. I'd known something was coming. The title company had been thorough. Every document cross-referenced, every signature verified, every recording date confirmed. I walked back inside. The family had rearranged themselves. Marcus now sitting in my chair, Dad and Mom flanking him on the couch like attorneys at a deposition. Jennifer stood behind them, arms crossed. I opened the folder on the coffee table, deliberately slow. The room went quiet except for the old furnace clicking on. This is the vesting report from First American Title, I said. Dated 2 weeks ago. It shows complete chain of title from 1987 when Grandma purchased the property through the present. I pulled out the first document. Here's Grandma's original deed. Sole owner, Dorothy Mae Carlson. Recorded March 15, 1987. Recording number 87-004521. Marcus shifted. That doesn't mean. This is her will, I continued, sliding the next page forward. Probated in county court. Case number 2021 PR 8847. She left the cabin to me specifically. Paragraph 7, subsection B. To my grandson Thomas Joseph Carlson, I leave the property located at 4485 Alpine Ridge Road. Mom's face tightened. Marcus said there was a codicil. There wasn't. I placed the court order on top. This is the probate court's final decree. Single heir for the real property. No amendments. No codicils. No shared ownership. Judge Patricia Morrison presiding. The silence stretched. Dad removed his glasses, cleaning them with his shirt. The thing he did when processing information he didn't want to process. Kept going. This is my purchase agreement from the estate. $340,000. Here's the appraisal supporting that value. Here's the mortgage from Mountain West Bank. Loan number 4489 to 7623, in my name solely. Here's my title insurance policy, showing clear title with 0 exceptions, 0 encumbrances, 0 other parties with ownership interest. I spread them out like playing cards, each one a small devastation. And this, I pulled out the final document, is the title company's forensic report on the documents Marcus provided today. Marcus's hand moved toward his papers but stopped. Your deed copy has alterations, I said. The title company's examiner identified 3 separate addition attempts. Your name added in different ink. The recording stamp photocopied from a different document and pasted onto this one. The recording date impossible. It shows March 3, 1987, 12 days before Grandma actually purchased the property. Jennifer's arms uncrossed. Dad set his glasses down carefully. The property tax statements you showed? I continued. The county assessor confirmed they're fabricated. My name is the only name on file. Always has been. They'll provide that in writing. They also flagged your inquiry last week as suspicious and forwarded it to their fraud investigator. Wait, Marcus started. The handwritten note from Grandma? I pulled out another page. I sent it to a forensic document examiner. The paper is 20 years newer than when Grandma died. The ink composition didn't exist in 2021. And the handwriting analysis shows 96% probability it was written by you, Marcus. Your letter formations, your specific pen pressure patterns, your distinctive way of making capital G's. Mom had gone pale. Dad stared at the documents like they were written in a language he'd forgotten how to read. I didn't come here to embarrass anyone, I said. I came because you called a family meeting and accused me of theft. So here's the truth, documented and verified. I own that cabin. Fully. Legally. Completely. Marcus forged documents to claim otherwise. You're twisting this, Marcus said, but his voice cracked. The title insurance company has already contacted their legal counsel, I said. Attempted fraud against their policy is a criminal matter. They're required to report it. The room felt smaller now, the walls pressing in. That lemon polish smell had turned sour. I also contacted the partition attorney Marcus emailed. I continued. Sent them the vesting report and forensic analysis. They've withdrawn from representation. They don't take cases involving fabricated claims. It's in their ethics guidelines. Dad finally spoke. Son, maybe there's been a misunderstanding. There's been fraud, I said. Specific. Premeditated. Criminal. I pulled out my phone, opening an email. This arrived this morning from the County District Attorney's Fraud Unit. They're opening an investigation. Case number 2024 FR 4478. They want to interview Marcus within 7 days. They've also flagged his use of a partition attorney as evidence of intent to benefit financially from forged documents. Marcus stood abruptly, his chair scraping loud against the hardwood. You're really going to do this? Press charges against your own brother. I'm not pressing charges, I said. The state is. Because you committed crimes. Forgery. Fraud. Attempted theft by deception. Those aren't family matters. They're felonies. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. We can work this out privately. No. The word came out harder than I intended. For 3 years I've paid the mortgage, the property taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, the emergency repairs. I've managed bookings, handled difficult guests, coordinated cleaners. I've built that rental business from nothing to $47,000 in annual net income. I looked directly at Marcus. You did nothing. Then you decided you deserved half. So you forged documents, consulted an attorney, and called a family meeting to publicly humiliate me into surrendering $170,000 in equity and half my rental income. You wanted to force a partition sale and pocket your share, while I lost everything I'd built. That's not, Jennifer started. It is exactly that. I closed the folder. And you all believed him. Immediately. Without question. Without even asking me for my side. The old furnace clicked off. In the silence I could hear Dad's breathing, heavy and labored. The cabin stays mine, I said. The title is unchallenged. The mortgage is in my name. The rental income is my income. Marcus will deal with the district attorney however he chooses. But this family's opinion about my ownership ended the moment you all decided his forgeries were more credible than 3 years of documented legal ownership. I picked up the folder. The leather on Grandma's chair creaked as I stood. If the DA contacts you for interviews, tell the truth, I said. That's the only advice I have. I walked to the door. Behind me, Marcus said something, his voice desperate and small. I didn't turn around. My hand found the doorknob, cold brass, solid, real. Outside, the November air bit clean and sharp. My car started smooth. The folder sat on the passenger seat, heavy with documentation and finality. 6 months later, I sat on the cabin's deck with morning coffee, watching mist rise from the valley below. The air smelled like pine and wood smoke from the fireplace. Cold but clean. Marcus had pleaded guilty to felony fraud. 18 months probation, $8,000 in restitution for my legal fees, permanent record. His partition attorney had filed a bar complaint against him for misrepresentation. The family had scattered, Dad ashamed, Mom deflecting, Jennifer avoiding everyone. The cabin's rental income had increased. I'd refinanced to a better rate. The property value had appreciated another $60,000. My phone sat silent on the table. No family group chat. No Sunday dinner invitations. No requests to use the cabin for free weekends. I didn't miss it. The mist burned off as the sun rose higher, revealing the mountain ridge that stretched for miles. My mountain ridge. My property. My peace. They'd wanted to take something I'd built. Instead, they proved exactly why I'd built it away from them. The coffee was good. The silence was better. And the title, still solely, legally, completely mine, was best of all.